might be the most boring video that I record and put onto LinkedIn. I warn you now. I'm going to talk about power outages. I'm going to talk about battery backups and uninterruptible power supplies, what we can or should expect from those, and kind of common pitfalls that we see when we start auditing networks around their configuration. So, uninterruptible power supplies, or UPS. A UPS is designed to provide a short-term battery backup and protection from power surges to equipment that it's connected to. Now, typically, for most organisations, this looks like a unit that is designed to provide sufficient runtime for core server infrastructure to allow databases and key line of business applications to shut down safely and avoid potential data loss. They're not necessarily or not typically designed to provide more than an hour or so's runtime. And if I'm honest, 20 minutes is quite common in a design for UPS protection. And they're certainly not designed to provide power to desktop PCs, laptops, etc. They are that backup that gives the systems time to shut down. If you're a larger organisation, they might be systems that provide enough time and send a signal to backup diesel generator and allow that to come online and provide reliable power. They're not there to continue to run forever. So UPSs have a number of features that and pitfalls that we often see when we start to audit. The most common one, and the one that causes the most frustration, is simply not installing the software or connecting the device to notify the servers of shutdown. It's very, very common when we audit sites that we find this. It's a big bugbear of mine personally. We ensure all of our systems, when we commission them, are tested, and we run through a test and document that that's the case, that they're connected. But it's often is the case where it's not been done. This happens quite a lot where somebody's replaced just the UPS and or the battery in the UPS and hasn't replaced all the equipment. So an engineer will have come to site, they'll replace and switch the UPS, but they won't have finished the work because it was a quick 5-minute job, or we'll come back and do that. So you do see that a little bit. You also see situations where the network configuration has changed, so the signal doesn't necessarily get to the servers, and somebody hasn't realised they've put the UPS in the wrong VLAN or something along those lines. That's quite common where internal IT or the engineers maintaining it don't understand IP VLANing. So again, you can see that occasionally. But the biggest one by far, or the biggest two by far, are one, not replacing the battery when it gets to its end of life. So the battery doesn't last forever, just like your laptop battery. You know, if you don't discharge, it doesn't get discharged and it's constantly topped up. It has a certain number of years before it's going to start to not hold enough power, and or where additional equipment has been plugged in. So you size a UPS for a certain load, a certain number of servers, and somebody adds another server. It's okay, there's capacity. And then somebody adds some more hard disk drives to one of the existing servers, and we don't really calculate what the additional draw is from that. And then somebody from, I don't know, the telephone provider comes along and plugs in a new router that draws more power. And before you know it, you have a situation where the UPS that was designed to run for 15-20 minutes and give sufficient time to comfortably shut down the servers is now giving less than 10 minutes, and although the signal's received, the servers don't have time to actually go through that process and shut down properly. So UPSs are often overlooked. They're often not given the care that they're due, and it's something that's worth reviewing, particularly if you've suffered a power outage or there's been power outages in your area. But really, they're probably worth looking at every year and doing that as part of your DR testing. You know, does it work? Does it have sufficient capacity? Do the batteries need replacing, or we've got the alerting in place to make sure that we're doing that as and when. But yeah, UPSs and power protection. Told you it might be boring, but it's really important. Literally keeps the lights on.